There's something almost tragic about the way most men move through life. They spend years learning how to chase women, how to be funny, how to dress, how to flirt, how to ask for numbers, but very few of them ever learn how to notice when a woman is already choosing them, because here's the truth no one talks about. When a woman is deeply attracted to you, she rarely says it out loud. She won't confess it in a text. She won't send a paragraph explaining her feelings. She won't walk up to you and say, "Hey, I've been thinking about you." No, she doesn't need to, because her attraction leaks out in quieter ways, subtle ways, ways that are invisible to the average man, but obvious to the man who knows how to see. The way she plays with her hair when you're near. The way she suddenly gets quiet when you look into her eyes. The way she asks you questions that seem innocent but are actually tests. The way her body angles toward yours, even when her words stay polite. The way she lingers when she says goodbye, like she's hoping you'll stop her from leaving. These moments are happening every day, and most men walk right past them because most men have been trained to speak, perform, prove themselves. But the rare man, the high-value, emotionally grounded man, he doesn't need to chase because he notices. And when he notices a woman's signals, the subtle signs that she's drawn to him, something powerful happens. She feels seen. She feels understood. She feels safe to open more, because now she's not carrying all the emotional weight. Now she knows she doesn't have to confess her feelings because he gets it. He sees the way her eyes flicker. He notices the way her laugh changes when he's around. He catches the energy beneath her words. And in that space, he doesn't need to rush. He doesn't need to impress. He simply leads with calm, masculine presence. That right there is the moment she lets her guard down. Not because he said the perfect thing, but because he didn't miss the message her body and energy had been sending all along. This is the difference between men who get ghosted and men who leave women awake at night thinking about them. So, if you're the kind of man who's tired of confusion, tired of guessing, tired of wondering if she's into you or not, then what I'm about to share with you is essential. Because these 7 signs, they're not loud, they're not obvious, but they are real. And once you learn to spot them, you'll never unsee them again. Women don't always use their words to express desire. They use their behavior, their tone, their timing, their vibe, and the man who can read that, the man who can sense what most ignore, he becomes unforgettable. So, if you're ready to become the kind of man women silently chase, the kind they open up to without understanding why, keep watching, because what I'm about to show you might change the way you see every woman from this point forward. Let's begin. Let's be honest. Most men spend their entire lives chasing what they don't even recognize when it's right in front of them. They buy cologne to smell right. They build muscles to look right. They learn lines, jokes, tactics, tricks, all to try and impress women. And yet, when a woman is already choosing them, already feeling a pull, they miss it. Not because they're blind, not because they're broken, but because no one ever taught them the deeper language of attraction. You see, women, real women, don't always say what they feel, and they don't show desire the way men do. Men are direct. If a man wants a woman, he says it. Text, he flirts, he makes it known. But the feminine, he flows. She reveals in waves. She hints rather than announces. She opens rather than declares. And if you're not attuned to that, you'll miss the doorway. You'll think she's just being polite when she smiles. You'll think she's just friendly when she asks you questions. You'll think she's just shy when she looks away. But underneath it all, if you know how to read between the lines, you'll see it. Attraction isn't always loud. It's often subtle, shy, quiet, even a little confusing. That's because the feminine tests before she trusts. She wants to know, can this man read me without me having to spell it out? Can he feel my interest even if I hide it beneath my smile? Can he hold the tension? Or will he crumble and chase like the others? And that's why noticing is everything. Because when you begin to see the signs she's secretly attracted to you, you become a different kind of man. You stop performing. You stop chasing. You stop overthinking. You enter a room and feel the subtle shifts in her posture. You make eye contact and see the flicker of something unspoken. You speak calmly and you watch not just her response but her energy. This awareness, this stoic awareness, becomes your advantage. And it's not about manipulation. It's not about control. It's about respect, presence, clarity. When a woman is attracted to you and she senses that you know and that you're not reacting like a boy, but responding like a grounded man, she relaxes. He opens, she leans in, not because you forced her to, but because she can finally trust you with the truth she wasn't ready to say out loud. That's the art of high-level attraction. It's not loud, it's not needy, it's not desperate, it's subtle, it's powerful, it's quietly magnetic, and most men never master it. Not because they can't, but because they've never looked. But you are here, and that tells me something. You're not here to play games. You're here to understand. You're here to become the kind of man who doesn't need to chase because he feels when he's already being chosen. So, in this video, I'm going to break down 7 quiet, powerful, deeply overlooked signs that a woman is secretly attracted to you. They won't always be obvious. They won't be written in texts or shouted from across the room, but they'll show up every single time if you know how to notice. Let's begin. Secret number 1. Emotional composure is magnetic. Let's be real. In today's world, emotional instability is everywhere. Social media has trained people to react instantly, post every thought, to fight, flex, and chase attention. Most men, especially younger ones, fall right into this trap. The moment a woman pulls back, they panic, they double text, they over-explain, they crumble. But you've been through enough to know better. A man with emotional composure doesn't overreact. He doesn't chase. He doesn't seek approval. When life gets chaotic, he becomes calm. When someone insults him, he doesn't defend. He observes. When a woman tests him, which they always do when they're interested, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't argue. He doesn't collapse. He smiles. He breathes. He lets the moment pass and stands rooted. This energy is rare and incredibly magnetic, because what women truly crave is certainty, emotional stability. A man who doesn't spiral when things get messy. A man who doesn't make his problems her problem. When you become the calm in the storm, she instinctively trusts you. She knows she can be emotional, and you'll stay grounded. That kind of presence isn't just attractive, it's unforgettable. Secret number 2, you're not seeking approval, you're giving it. Here's something most men don't realize. Women are constantly being judged on their looks, their choices, their behavior. They live in a world of silent performance. But when you're a man who doesn't need anything from her, when you're not trying to impress, not trying to please, something inside her shifts because you're not seeking approval, you're giving it. And that flips the dynamic completely. You're not another guy asking, "Do you like me?" You're the man silently asking, "Do I like you?" Women feel this. It's subtle, it's powerful, and it makes them want to earn your attention. That's the energy shift that makes older men so desirable. You've seen enough to know that not every beautiful woman is worth your time. You've loved and lost. You've been around long enough to recognize emotional immaturity and walk away. When you carry this quiet discernment, women lean in. 'Cause now you're the prize. Secret number 3. You have stories, not just status. Let's talk depth. Younger guys may have ambition and energy, but they haven't lived through enough to have soul. They haven't felt heartbreak. They haven't navigated loss, recovery, rebuilding, but you have, and that gives you something infinitely attractive character. You've got stories, not just party stories or success stories, but real, human, raw experiences. The kind that leave scars, the kind that teach wisdom, the kind that make a woman sit forward and listen, not because you're trying to impress her, but because you're being real. When you speak from experience, not theory, your words carry weight. You can say something simple and it lands like thunder. Why? Because it's backed by truth. And women, especially high V value ones, are starved for this. They don't want a man who's perfect. They want a man who's been broken and still stands tall. Your age isn't baggage, it's richness. And when you stop hiding it, she'll stop looking elsewhere. Secret number 4. Your standards are high but quiet. There's a reason most women feel safer and more alive around older men. Boundaries. You've lived enough to know what you will and won't tolerate. But the difference is you don't shout it. You don't lecture. You don't try to control. You simply hold your line calmly, firmly, silently. You don't let disrespect slide. You don't overextend yourself to people who drain your energy. You don't entertain chaos, not because you can't, but because you no longer care to. That restraint, that emotional discipline, select electric women feel it instantly and they respect it, because now the game isn't, can I get his attention? It's, can I rise to his level? And when a woman feels like she has to meet your standard, she shows up with her best. He softens, she slows down, she listens, she respects. Quiet standards speak louder than loud demands. And that's the mark of a mature man. Secret number 5. You have direction even if you're still building. Purpose is magnetic. Always has been, always will be. A man with direction doesn't need to explain himself. He walks differently, talks differently, thinks differently. Not because he's arrogant, but because he knows exactly who he is and where he's going. That energy is intoxicating to a woman, especially in a world filled with indecisiveness, distractions, and endless options. When you're the man who builds a business, a mission, a craft, a life, she feels it. It's in your tone. It's in your posture. It's in your discipline. And here's the best part. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to be done. You just need to be in motion with clarity and intention, because it's not the finish line that attracts her. It's the fact that you're moving forward without her. You're not waiting for permission. You're not hoping she'll complete you. You're already whole. And that is magnetic. Secret number 6. You flirt with depth, not just charm. Let's get this straight. Charm is everywhere. Every guy with a TikTok account knows how to be witty, sarcastic, playful. But that's not what makes a woman melt. That's not what makes her remember you 3 days later, when she's lying in bed, wondering why you're still on her mind. That comes from depth. And depth doesn't perform, it connects. When you speak, you don't rush. You don't fill silences with noise. You let things breathe. You say less, but every word has weight. You ask better questions. You notice details. You reflect instead of react. And you listen not to respond, but to understand. This kind of flirting is rare because it doesn't chase. It invites. And women are drawn to that invitation like moths to flame. Because now she's not just being complimented, she's being seen. Not just for her looks, but for her essence, her values, her story. And once a woman feels that kind of recognition, she'll crave it. Secret number 7, you carry yourself like a king, not a clown. This is the final and perhaps the most powerful secret. Clown needs attention. A king commands it. Most men today are desperate to be seen. They're loud, They overpost. They chase trends. They try to be funny, edgy, controversial, anything to get eyes on them. But a man who carries himself like a king doesn't need to shout. He walks slowly. He speaks with clarity. He enters a room with stillness, not flash. And people notice. Why? Because energy doesn't lie. A king doesn't need validation. He doesn't care if everyone likes him. He knows who he is. He leads by presence, not performance. And when a woman feels that, her nervous system relaxes. Her feminine energy awakens. She feels safe, turned on, and curious all at once because she's not dealing with a boy trying to impress her. She's standing in front of a man who doesn't flinch. And that's the most attractive thing she's ever felt. So stop apologizing for your age. Stop chasing what's loud. Stop doubting your value. You're not past your prime. You are entering it right now. Own these 7 traits. And you won't just attract women. You'll attract respect, connection, power, and peace. That's what being an irresistible older man is all about. Now you know the truth. A woman's attraction isn't always loud, but it's always there if you know how to see it. Her eyes, her questions, her posture, her presence. She might not say she wants you, but she'll show it in ways most men are too distracted to notice. But you're not most men. You've started to wake up to the deeper language, quiet signals, the subtle tests, the hidden tension, and now you have a choice. You can go back to guessing, overanalyzing, waiting for a sign so obvious it no longer matters. Or you can stay tuned in, present, observant, stoic. Because the men who women remember, the ones who walk into a room and create a shift in energy, aren't loud. They're not performers. They're aware. And if you want to master that awareness and become the kind of man who doesn't chase, but chooses, then this channel is built for you. Brain, subscribe now if you haven't already. Every video we drop is designed to sharpen your awareness, deepen your confidence, and develop the kind of masculine presence that speaks without saying a word. Bell, turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because the next video might reveal the one thing holding you back from the connection you want most. And if this resonated with you, if this helped you understand female attraction on a deeper level, drop a comment. I read everyone. Share your story, your experience, your questions. You're not here by accident. You're part of a new breed of men. Men who lead with depth, power, and calm. And women feel that. This is peak Stoic. And we'll see you in the next one. Stay grounded, stay sharp.